Hi everyone, welcome back. A few minor repairs and changes to make to the car this week. If we're gonna stay up front, if we could stop starting on the high side. Thank you guys so much for watching. I greatly appreciate every single one of you. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. It helps me a ton on the back end. It doesn't cost you a thing. It's not that kind of a subscription thing. I know YouTube calls it a subscribe button, but usually if you see a subscription on the internet, you have to pay for it. This isn't that. You click a button, you watch or you don't, but it helps me either way. Watching does help a lot. Oh, please don't get that wrong. But if you know somebody who would like this sort of thing, please send them my way. Friends, family, relatives, those are the same thing. Anyway, I got a little bit of work to do here. We had a good race last week. Just didn't end the way I wanted it to. I'm looking down the side of the car and there's some damage that kind of makes me laugh because boy, this thing's a lot more beat up than I expected it to be this year, but that doesn't really matter. I knew that was coming to begin with, but anyway, there's a bunch of adjustments that we need to make if we're going to stay up front, like I mentioned at the beginning. Some I'll show you, some I won't, because we're going to be trying some proprietary knowledge stuff, and we're all so neurotic and mentally ill that we're just, as racers, I say that collectively, that we sometimes hide stuff, but never you mind. I got a bagged lunch that I didn't finish from work. I got a couple hours before I got to get out of here. I got to jump straight into it and just get this thing going. This is that damage I was telling you about. The front fender is just used up. I mean, I think we might have hit it too much with too heavy of a hammer, and it might be pushed in a little bit. I might have to try unhooking it from stuff and like try tweaking it and then resetting it back onto the points where it's bolted up. I didn't really hit anybody with the bumper at all. I mean, I got, I think, one car with the right front, a little bit. That's just kind of racing. It's not really a huge deal. This is just kind of bulged out for God knows what reason. The hood still fits fine. It's not like the last few weeks where we were just completely wiped off the front of the car twice. That's okay. I looked at the left side. Left side, I mean, maybe I'll touch it with a hammer, but it's really not a huge deal. What the huge deal is right now is I think I need to bleed the brakes. I tried to do it myself, did not come out well. I'll have to call my brother out here, get him to help me out. We're also going to make some chassis adjustments. Like, I think I'm going to make a couple spring changes out back. I don't know about weight yet. We're also going to go through our regular maintenance schedule, maintain the car as best we can. But first, I have to clean up my own mess. See, my wife's car broke down yet again. Probably my fault. I don't know. I thought I was doing okay. Don't mind these. It says late model Chrysler V6 blaster coils. See, she's got a Cherokee with a V6, right? Newer one. And I bought new coils because the ones died after over 100,000 miles. So I'm like, that's fair. So I changed the plugs and coils because it needed it. Drove it another 20,000 miles, and they died again. So I'm like, okay, the first ones made it 100,000 plus. All right, fine. So I bought these off of Rock Auto. That was probably my first mistake. I thought buying, a nice name brand like Denso that claimed to be OE quality would have been fine. Nope, they died after like 5,000 miles. So I went to O'Reilly's and bought MSD blaster coils and saved all the ones that the scanner said didn't work anymore. Put all the MSD ones in her car. So I'm like, there you go. Maybe that'll last. Hopefully. I gotta put those somewhere. And then I gotta clean up the rest of my mess. But when your street cars are like your race cars and you gotta fix them multiple times, that's irritating. So hopefully that damn problem's over with and I get back to work on this thing. we were bouncing some ideas around. I figured we'd give them a shot this week. Didn't see anything while I was in there. Got a few more changes that I gotta make, but for today, I really gotta end it. As I have other obligations on Mondays, I have to get out of here and get ready for those. So we got a good start, and I even pounded a few dents just kind of hanging around. I wish I had more wrap material, or else I would make a brand new right front fender, because that thing is just hammered. Anyway, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Same shirt, different day. Went and grabbed another tank for the trailer, got some errands done, cashed my winnings check so that I can afford to pay for gas because it's cash only, I guess. And gonna keep doing maintenance. We're gonna nut and bolt the car, which we haven't done in a while. One thing I haven't done is I haven't crawled underneath it and checked like bell housing bolts, transmission mounting bolts, stuff like that, because, you know, these things vibrate. They're race cars. Everything's solid mounted, so the vibration could knock things loose. Like, I went down and I put a wrench to the pitman arm on my steering box, and that was a little bit loose. Like, I got a little bit out of it, so it's like, little weary about that sort of stuff. So probably going to do that. That's a maintenance item I haven't done yet this year, and it's probably very useful. So we're going to get to that. I'm going to pop some caps off of hubs and make sure there's grease in it. Going to make sure there's no weird leaks. Going to grab a grease gun, because grease is cheap and it's insurance. So going to have to roll this tank into my trailer, find a place for this easy up that I left out. All these car wash and washer fluid supplies that I left all over the place, and just generally clean up the shop. It's a beautiful day, by the way. It is perfect. It's going to be like sunny and 75 degrees, which is exactly what I like. Going to open the door up, get to work. I got to putzing around with the fender and a dolly and a hammer, and I got it back to being pretty well shaped. I mean, it was kind of lumpy and wobbly. Now it's actually got a little bit of a it does have a curve here because, well, when you hammer on steel enough times, it stretches. I had to unbolt it from the fender so that this thing could actually walk forward. And we got the dents pulled back out of it. Seems to be all right. Might wipe her down with some WD-40 and take whatever impurities out of the wrapper there. I'll probably go do the same to the other side because it looks like it's kinked above the tire a little bit. So I'll go unbolt her, give her a good hammer out, wipe it down. Body work will be done. You know, as I'm working on this thing, I thought to myself, you know, there's different kinds of workers, especially when it comes to automotive workers, and clearly I'm not a professional, and you all know that. Most of you probably aren't either. But I was at the welding shop today getting my gas canister exchanged, and I saw all the equipment that they had. They had just expensive stuff like Miller and Lincoln welders and Radnor stuff, and I'm like, man, this is way too nice for me. I am more of a Harbor Freight worker, and that's okay. I stay in my lane. I know I'm not a professional, but you know what? I can get the job done. We've won plenty of races with Harbor Freight tools. I wish they'd sponsor me because of how much money I've spent there over the years. But anyway, there are some things that they make that are just kind of good. And for people like us who are not professionals, I'll share some of that with you. Granted, you've seen my welding setup, just a little messy cart with a titanium multi-process. If you're someone like me and you just need a MIG welder, just get the MIG welder. Like, get the nicer one. Like, I don't know what it is, if it's a 210 or a 200, but it can do a spool gun with aluminum. I should have just bought that, but I wanted to try to learn other things, so I got this one, and it can allegedly TIG weld metal and stick weld, even though I'm terrible at both. Maybe this isn't that great at both, but you know what? It's a damn good MIG welder, and that's all that matters. These hammers, pretty awesome. Not gonna lie. But these, they're lights. This thing's like got its own battery. It's got a magnet, clearly. It's got this little pen light you can put onto it. It's got this really bright one. It's got this wand, which I'm actually gonna attach. But like I said, there's some stuff that they make that is just phenomenal. And this is aluminum, by the way. Like, all aluminum. And I'm going to use it to go inspect my brakes. And, you know, like I said, if I find a deal or something that works for me, I pass it along to you guys. And it's not really expensive either. If y'all remember last video, I had to pull this hub off because the inner seal, the bearing seal, had popped off. Well, I tried to bend it back into shape and get it to fit good, and I hammered it back in. Well, it's junk again, so I think we're just going to pull the hub off. I'll add it to the list. We got to do some attention to the right front. I think the fitting isn't good either. We might have to swap that fitting out because I used a used one, and it's kind of weepy. I don't like it, so probably going to have to redo that fitting, bleed the brakes with somebody here. I'll call my brother up and have him come up after work one day. Maybe I'll do that today. I think I got another fitting. So maybe I'll go do that today. We inspected the brakes, calipers, rotors, pads. Everything looks all right. I just might have to go to Napa real quick, go pick up a seal. I'm pretty sure they'll have one. I'll have to go search online at their website. But that's usually a good indicator. Instead of driving to your parts store, put your local parts store, whatever one you choose, doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be Napa or anything, but they sponsor my racetrack, and they're the closest one to my house, so that's the one I kind of go to first. But put it in on your computer, cell phone, whatever. Type in what you're looking for, the car, the part, whatever. Make sure you have your store set to the one that's local to you. I don't know if I mentioned that, but just make sure. Sometimes if you're using like a cell phone, it'll pick a different one that's somewhere else. I don't know, wherever a cell phone tower is or something. And then just look to see if they have it in stock. And it'll actually show you. It says pick up today, then you can get it. Or it'll say in stock, whatever it says. So I'm going to go do that and see if we can get one. I don't think I have a spare one hanging around. You'd think I would because of how much stuff I have, but I don't know. So I looked in my toolbox. Apparently I had like 3 different tail shaft bushing or tail shaft seals for a transmission sitting in there. Guess I grabbed the wrong part when I robbed my father's stash. Anyway, I'm going to go look again. I don't know what's wrong with me today, but I got distracted. And I decided, you know what, my air tank, which my dad bought me a while ago, probably when I first moved into here, I've never drained it. Whoops. So let's see how she's doing. Oh. Well, I hope all that water is going somewhere good. I can't get the plug open all the way, though, which kind of stinks. Let's see if I can open my pliers up a little bit more. Let's try that. I can hear air. Nope, opening the pliers did not help. I get the feeling this thing's gonna pop and blow water all in my face. You know what? It's going. It'll drain eventually. Let's see how much water comes out. I've learned something. It's reverse thread like a petcock on a radiator. Well, here we go. Let's keep it going. I did turn it off, by the way. Oh, God. It must be like plugged or something. Because, oh, wait, there's more. That should be spraying out if I was just draining it for air. Oh, well. That's all the way open, and it's still not really coming out, so that's a bit concerning. Maybe I'll let it drain completely out, see if I can get a big pair of pliers or something on this and see if that'll come off. Probably not. Maybe I'll just take the bottom part off here. I don't know, but that's all water. Wonder how full of water it is. For some reason, that thing is the slowest draining thing on Earth, even with the petcock removed. I don't know why it's still going. I don't know why it's taking forever. You'd think an orifice this big would just drain right out, but I might have to jam a wire in there and see why it's not. Either way, yeah, why do I have the petcock out? Well, you can see she's missing a lip, missing an O-ring, and corroded. So I think I'm going to go haul down to Tractor Supply real quick, see if I can find one. If not, I'm just going to put a pipe plug in there about this size and just be done with it. If I need to drain it, I can just take the damn pipe plug out. Maybe I'll get a brass one. I don't know. We'll figure it out. All right, quick trip to Tractor Supply. Got me a, well, looks like a returned drain valve. That looks like the right one. I literally went to the general store, ate lunch, came out. It's still draining air. How? Now I'm really confused. Whatever. I'll just jam something up in there to see if there's a blockage and put the new one in and just move on with my life because I have other things to do. So I'm kind of in the middle of making a few adjustments here, and I'm trying to make the car better by thinking very, very hard about what I felt and what I think it needs. Running full-time this year has really given me the opportunity to get some seat time and really kind of feel these things out a little bit better. And what I'm going to try to do is all of it at once, perfectly honest. I've noticed up front there's a few things that we've been doing that I noticed was about the same as when we raced at Thompson. I would feel kind of the same thing. And I tried, I know, I wish I could tell you guys exactly what we're doing. Anyway, so I've got a bunch of parts hanging around. I want to make another change to the left rear spring. I feel like it's not working as well as it should. And I think that there's something that I want to go back to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop all the wheels on it, drop the car on the ground in its current form, measure, I don't know, a frame height or something. I'll just mark a spot. Without me in the car, it doesn't matter. I don't have to be in the car. Pull it back up, change that spring out, put it back down, and then just kind of reset it back to where that marker is. And that should at least put us back in the ballpark. Now, what I was going to do is, my dad once taught me with setting up these very specific cars, because these are not the same as like the rest of the country. They're not, because we have open rears, and open rears, you take everything you know and throw it out the window now completely. Because if you read magazines or books or articles or watch videos or whatever about race car setup, a lot of it is pertinent until you do that. Until you change that rear end. And once you open it up, now you've completely changed everything. Stagger doesn't matter. Spring rates are completely different. How the car reacts completely different. Everything is different, okay? So when it comes to this setup, he told me make, and I'm not going to tell you because I'm neurotic, I know, but he said make this corner and that corner of the car, make the weights the same. And I'm like, okay, I don't really know how that works or why it works, but we haven't done that in a long time. And so I'm going to go in there and I'm going to move some lead around and see if that helps, because I've noticed that we've had some issues with drive off, and in practice I'd hit the gas, or in heat race or whatever, I'd hit the gas coming off and I'd hear the motor pick up, but then it would kind of just take off. And I know it's not the clutch slipping, I'd smell it. I know that it's the left rear spinning. And we had this problem when we first debuted this car. And it's like, if we hit a specific cross weight number and we have a specific rear weight number, the left rear will spin. So I'm like, we got to get rid of that. But we can't get rid of our drive in. We can't kill drive off. There's so much going through my mind that I want to get right that I'm just really racking my brain. And I know I'm talking a lot right now, but these are kind of the changes that I'm going to be making and praying that they work. But I'm doing this so that if I want to make changes at the racetrack, it's going to be a lot easier, especially if I bring stuff with me like springs or sway bars or whatever. I can just make the change and it won't be a big deal. Not sure if I'm one of those kinds of people or not, but I don't know if I can really bench test things on a race car by just kind of jumping on them and feeling it myself. I don't think I'm one of those weird savants who can kind of play a spring like an accordion and think, oh yeah, let's just use that one. But, I mean, I think I'm going to put it on scales. I know it's only Tuesday, but I really want to start the process now. I'm trying something new up front. Oh, I haven't moved the weight yet. I should probably do that first, which shouldn't be too big a deal. I'll just take whatever. I'm not adding or subtracting, so whatever I have in the car for like spacers to hold it in place, I can just take them out and move them wherever they need to go. I think I'm only going to do one side just to be safe because I don't want to start moving all the lead in the car and then make a huge change because these cars are built pretty light. And that would be a big change. So what I want to do is just kind of make a little change. And from what I'm reading on Ride Heights, I tried to move it back onto the flattest piece of concrete that I have and get some measurements there. Clearly, I don't know what it is without scaling, but I'm trying to figure some stuff out. And I'm trying to go off of intuition. And we all know where that's gotten me in the past. Not very far. So hopefully I've learned a few things, and I'm going to consult with a few people and ask them their opinion. And then we're going to try that. And hopefully it actually works. If not, well, I'm going to actually bring a whole bunch of parts with me. I'm going to bring, I think I already bring shocks. I'm going to bring springs. I'm going to bring sway bars. I'm going to bring tires. I'm going to bring everything with me. And we're going to take advantage of as much practice time as we possibly can. I can't afford to rent the track. Otherwise, I would. But that would make for a really long day because they don't rent other than Fridays before the races because they already have staff there. And I can't afford it. Last time I did it, it was like $500, and I think it was with 4 other people. So it's like, or 5 other people, I can't remember. So it's pretty pricey. So it's not bad, but it's not, I can't really do it. So I think I'm going to air up the tires. I just put fuel in it. I'm going to throw it on scales. I'm going to get some numbers, and I'm going to figure out what to change next. I'm just going to do this for data's sake. Plus, maybe I can reach a few things to grease while it's on pads. Okay, you join me a few hours later, and I've been data collecting. I put the car on scales, and surprisingly, after just kind of eyeballing some ride heights and stuff, it is pretty much exactly where I left it last week. I got to go look at the numbers, but I'm pretty sure right back where it was, which is really funny to me. However, I looked at some ride heights after making a few adjustments, and the left front a little too high. So I'd like to get that down if I can. Luckily, I have a few days to get this thing ready. I got a few minor details to take care of. Like I got to get the brakes bled. They don't feel good. So I got to get my brother over here. We got to bleed those. I'm going to change that wonky fitting. And hope for the best. I mean, I'm trying a new system up front for adjusting sway bar and adjusting other things that I can do it and have a system where it's consistent and I can make sure that we know what it is. And I'm going to have to use like tape and markers to make sure that we know what the starting point's going to be. I think I just wiped my face with this greasy hand. Yep. Anyway, that aside, she's looking good. I just got to do whatever I was doing for maintenance purposes. I mean, like I said, it is a little early, but I want to be ahead. We need to make the right adjustments here. We gotta learn some stuff. We gotta figure some stuff out. And I don't really know if I'm going in the right direction or not. But you know what? I haven't felt that way yet. And yet, we're finishing well. The car drives through traffic well. We're doing okay. Even though we're outside of the realm of what I remember working and not working when I was doing this stuff at Thompson. So let's just keep the ball rolling. Let's keep trying stuff. And let's bring parts with us in case it fails. So anyway, as I go to wipe this stuff off of my forehead, I am going to call it for the night. I'm going to go and just put some notes up on the board and make sure that we have everything in order. And then I'm going to give a call to my brother to see if he wants to come help me, which I'm sure he will, especially if I buy pizza. Anyway, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Oh, I did it even worse. All right, next day. It's actually cold out. Like, I'm actually going to pause this and go look at what temperature it is. I just looked, 64 degrees out. It's August 20th, by the way. Welcome to living in New England. I've only been complaining about how hot it's been for, what, a few months now. And now it's cold. 64 is cold to me now. Whatever. All right, so I'm in the trailer, and you can't see me too well. But we're going to go looking for parts because I forgot to go to the auto parts store. There might be enough room for me to peek in one of my... No. Maybe not. Let's see if I'm strong enough one-armed to get that out of the way. That did nothing. All right. Kit. Oh, there's a first aid kit that actually works. That would have been good to know. Oh, there's an even bigger one. You know how many times I've cut myself this year and not realized that I had that? Huh. Ooh. Damn, those are wheel bearings. Damn, those are wheel bearings as well. They're the right ones. Ouch, okay. Brake pads, sway bar arms. What is this? Wait a minute. Why do I have a pilot bushing in here? That's going back in the shop. All right, so I think I've exhausted my search because, oh good, there's like acorns in here, which means something's living in there. What's this? Ball joint, upper. Just stuff that back in there. Now there's no seals in here, huh? Dang it. Dang it. That stinks. Pilot bushing. Who puts a pilot bushing in the trailer? I'm looking through every drawer and I found literally acorns and mouse poop. I didn't find anything of what I needed. So that means I'm probably going to have to load my kit up and take him over to Advanced Auto Parts or AutoZone or whatever the hell one's open at this point. Dang it. And go buy one. All right, we are back with a couple wheel seals from... And I also saw another problem back here, which really kind of pisses me off. My dehumidifier has a pipe in it that goes outside, so it can just run whenever. Well, apparently that pipe got ripped off by this thing magically falling over, and it drained a whole bunch of water into a box full of gears and parts for a Ford 9-inch. So I'm hoping that the residual gear oil on them holds them together okay, and the fact that it's going to dry out from this thing, but that really does that. So now that I actually have the correct parts, I can now pull that wheel seal back off, which I did last week, and instead of trying to hammer it back into shape, I can just put a new one on. And I can keep one for spare instead of carrying 3 different tail shaft seals in my toolbox for whatever reason. I gotta audit all my stuff so that I know what I actually have. I didn't even know where my freaking first aid kit was. Anyway, important bit is we have to fix this thing. And I have a few adjustments to make based off ride height. And I think I am a broken record when I say that I do that every single week. Anyway, let's get to work. That in the background, it is actually raining for the first time in like a month. Not joking. My lawn won't catch fire now. That's perfect. That hub seal felt a lot better going in. Greased everything up, added a little bit more, put it all back together. Everything looked okay. Nice and tight. Everything's clean, good to go, pinned. Next on the agenda is going to have to be, we're going to go and take a little bit out of the left front. I was actually surprised when I put this thing on scales, measured some ride heights. It was actually high. I don't remember it being high before. I'm going to roll it on scales and check one more time before I make my adjustment. But I think I got to take a couple turns out of the left front. It's a boring process. I have to drop a shock. I got to take the wheel off. I got to drop the ball joint. I got to get the spring out. It's just going to be a complete nightmare. So I'm going to go do that. I don't think I'm going to put you to time lapse on that. Then I'm going to throw a grease gun on all the suspension joints, make sure they're good. Probably not the steering, more the ones that actually move, like A-frames, ball joints, stuff like that. U-joint in the rear. And back on scales we go. I know it's early, but we got to make sure that whatever adjustments we're making are done early so that if we need to make changes, we have time to do so. We're at the point now where the car can probably go back in the air. That was the plan all along. We've got it on scale pads just to see where we're at. Now it's going to go back in the air. We got to bleed brakes and do stuff, so that's got to happen. My brother's coming by tomorrow. He's going to help me with that. In the meantime, I'm going to continue with the maintenance process. At least look it over, make sure nothing's funny, and get it done. Hopefully, I can at least get some eyeballs and wrenches on this thing, make sure things are tight. I was already under here looking at stuff, cleaning things off, making sure there wasn't leaky stuff, and I found one of the bolts on my left side lower control arm. The nut had come loose, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. So I put a wrench on that, made sure that didn't come out. I think we're just going to go start throwing wrenches at this thing and do boring maintenance stuff. So with the aid of my trusty friend, the probably supposedly wire brush for welding, I was able to knock a bunch of crap off of the tires. Got a little bit of excess rubber buildup off of them as well with a little torch and heat action with a scraper. Just whatever big blobs would screw up a measurement, I took off. I'd left everything else. I'm like, you know what, the hell with it. So we're going to measure those up with our new tire pressures for what we're trying. We've got basically 2 things to do, and that is bleed the brakes and scale the car, which it's already mostly been scaled. We did discuss making a change on the left rear spring. I had already changed it, but we changed it back to a little less of a change. dialing in a car means making smaller changes, not huge changes. So we're making small changes back here to hopefully make a little bit of a difference all the way around. We're going to try it, but I'm going to wait until tomorrow because that's when I'm going to have help. We're going to bleed brakes, change that fitting, and put the car on scales. Load trailer, done deal. So I will see you guys tomorrow. It's the next day, load up day, really. Got to have the car scaled and done by tonight so that we can have it in the trailer and everything loaded for tomorrow because of my new work schedule. I got to make sure everything is done ahead of time so that when I get out of work, I just basically fly home, jump in the truck, and take off. However, I've been kind of busy cleaning up. You'll notice there's a pile of like wood chunks here. Oh, looks like my weed whacker got left out. There's more junk in here. And there's all sorts of junk over here. Well, apparently that trench that I dug in front of my shop to kind of alleviate the water wasn't enough to stop whatever rain happened last night. And of course, the shop flooded yet again. So I'm literally taking a broom and cleaning all the dirt, debris, wood chunks, leaves, grass clippings, whatever else washed in here. And I have to sweep it right back out. Luckily, everything by the door, from here down, whatever's on the floor is in plastic bins or is unable to be hurt by water. Because I know and I've learned my lesson from the past. So I'm going to get this cleaned up. Then we can finally get to work. Guys, when the off season shows up in about a month and a half or however long it's going to be, we're going through this entire shop and getting rid of or cleaning up everything. Everything is getting cleaned up. Whatever I have that's race car related, tires, whatever, maybe not parts per se, but like whatever I can move to get workshop space is going in the trailer, and the trailer is getting a dehumidifier put in it, and it's going over in the side yard and getting chained to a tree because I want to be able to clean this place. I might even attack the floor and see if I can't level it and maybe even put new floor in. I don't know yet. I'd love to demo this floor with a jackhammer and put a new one in, but that's probably more than I can afford. So either way, we're going to do the best we can for now, and we got plans. Alright, well the cavalry showed up and we got the car scaled, compared it to last week's numbers, and we're happy with it. So we're just going to kind of throw it in the trailer and hope for the best. Discussing tire strategy on what to do, and we're going to figure out the seat of our pants, I guess. So car's going in the trailer now. I don't feel like sitting out here all night, and we're going to get this thing ready as soon as possible so that I'm not all stressed out. So, all right, time to go. All right, she's in the box. Just gonna do a final little sweep here, create a little bit more dust that, you know, will be the deletion of my floor little bit by bit, and get out of here. So I'm gonna go enjoy the rest of my evening, maybe find something to eat, even though I don't need it, and I'll see you guys at the track tomorrow. All right, it is a perfect day. It's like 80 degrees and not a cloud in the sky. It is gorgeous. And I think it's about race number 13. So I think after this week we got 5 left. I had made a guess at being about a month and a half left in the season. Yeah, I was about right. It's 6 races, which includes tonight. So got only a short amount of time to turn our luck around. Here we go again. Oh no, not the bumps. Dang it all. Practice report. My experiment made the car feel better. But as with everything in this division this year at this track, and every time I try something like this, making it feel better makes it slower. So now we're chasing ourselves. I brought all the parts with me to fix it back to where it was, but now it's like, well, I've made so many changes that it's like, do I try just putting the old stuff back in it and hoping for the best, or I don't know. So might just grit our teeth and try to make adjustments with what it has and then figure it out later. But for now, I gotta go to the driver's meeting, so heat race time coming up. Heat race report. Car went loose on entry when it wasn't loose all day, and we tried tightening it up before that. So I don't know what that was all about, but we're fighting it. This experiment seems to be not quite what I was hoping for. We threw a bunch more stuff at it, tried to set it back where it was, and we're gonna see if it helps. I'm hoping it helps, because now I'm at the point where I'm kind of regretting trying this today, given my starting position. And we'll just try. We'll try our best like usual. It is what it is, so we'll see you for the feature. I didn't want to unload last night, given how bad it was, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm just going to go take a shower and go to bed. It wasn't a good day. You know, sometimes when you want to learn something, it requires you to do things that you're not comfortable with. Even though in your mind you've convinced yourself to do it, you're like, well, maybe it'll do this or that. Then you try it, and then you spend the entire day floundering and digging through the deepest depths of your knowledge to try to figure out what to do next or what to fix or just anything. Just figure anything out. And that's what we did yesterday, and it was not good. We managed to get through the heat race pretty clean. We had a good starting spot and essentially threw it away because we tried something. And that's what really irritates me the most, is that we had probably our second best shot at success this season, and we literally threw that away because we were trying stuff. And that's what just, I haven't really been able to get over that. And then we made some mistakes in the race. Like, there was a restart when, I don't know what happened. I thought people were going, and so I started rolling, and then turns out they weren't going, and I absolutely hammered Bert. I think he was third at the time, and just got pancaked in an accordion, and that was dumb. I usually I'm a lot better than that, and it just kind of, that just set the tone, really, didn't it? And then the whole day, the car was, you know, halfway decent on entry, but then in the feature and, well, the heat race, it was like stupidly loose getting in, and I just couldn't do anything with it. And I'm like, well, I don't know what the hell's going on, you know? So we're going to just go back to plan C. I think I'm done experimenting with this setup. We tried a bunch of stuff, and the combination is good in traffic. If I left it alone, it was good in traffic, but it was not really fast on its own. Like, other guys could still put a tenth to a tenth and a half on us in the open, just kind of on its own, you know. In traffic, like I said, in traffic we were really good, but on our own we weren't good enough. Our other setup that we started the year off with, that we won with, that we had some success with, the reason I got away from it was because I couldn't make it work in traffic. I would go in, it was fine, through the center, it was fine, get to the throttle, and have to roll the throttle because it would just spin coming off. So it's like, I can't find a happy medium. So we're going to plan C, which is actually kind of a setup that I used to run when we were winning at Thompson. I brought it to Stafford a couple times. It was decently fast. I didn't have any experience or handicap or anything. So we're going to try it again. I know it works. I know it's stable, and I'm familiar with it. In that shuffle, yeah, we bent the bumper again. It is straight up. I'm probably going to have to take the tailpiece off again just to get to it. I don't know what to do to fix it again. I'm pretty sure the rear clip is now actually bent in this car because, well, not only has the bumper been bashed in a huge amount of times, but so has the rear frame rail right here, which has now been dented in at least twice by people getting up underneath my bumper and hammering the frame. And if you take a hammer, you remember when we first got this car, we could take a hammer to the bars and it would go ding and just ring like a piano or whatever you call it, maybe a harp. I don't know. I'm not very good at comparing things. But now you hit a couple of specific bars, like these down here, they ding. That one there doesn't. The frame rail here doesn't. So that tells me the rear clip is probably tweaked in it. And I'm looking down this frame rail right here. You can actually see it's a little bit kinked in right here. So, yeah. It's not bad, though, because it's not where the suspension mounts up or where the springs are. it's behind that. So it's not really a huge deal. It's more cosmetic and basically it holds the bumper on and the fuel cell in. That's about it. So geometry wise, it's not really doing anything, but I still don't like it. So now I have a minor amount of body work to do and some maintenance. I think I got to do an oil change. I think it's due. Might go through the valve train. But now we have a whole lot of work ahead of us because now we have to completely swap the car over. I have to drop the whole front end out of it. I'm not even convinced these rear shocks are any good. I've been bouncing the car up and down and I just hear them hiss. I don't even see them like functionally slowing the bounce of the car down. It's just par for the course for parts as well, because I bought 4 brand new shocks for this car when I put it together, and like, they're junk. I hate them. They're not good. And I have a set of old shocks that are the exact same part number from over 5 years ago, and they're great. They work. So probably just gonna go ahead and swap those out. I mean, I got so much damn work to do, I can't even list it all right here, but I got the quick jacks under the car for a reason, because I need to free up the floor jacks, because everything's coming apart, and you'll see that in the next video. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. Please consider subscribing if you haven't already. You know, sometimes when luck actually kind of goes our way, we're the ones who dig the hole for ourselves instead of like paving over it and standing on top of it. So we're going to pave over it and go back and get them next week, I hope. So thank you guys again. I appreciate it. And until next time.